Growing up, I always wanted to be an actor and a singer. I went to University of Waterloo for theatre and music, and I loved to be on stage and be in musicals and plays and do stuff like that.
So before I got into policing, I actually played professional hockey. I was drafted by the Toronto Maple Leafs. I ended up signing a contract with the Carolina Hurricanes, and I played 3 years in their minor league system until I ended up getting hurt.
I had a skate cut my Achilles tendon and calf right in half. So it was a quick end to my hockey career. I moved back home and had to figure out what I was going to do for the rest of my life. When everything I had done was focused to one thing, it was a tough transition to try to figure out what I wanted to do. So I went and talked to some recruiters with Waterloo Regional Police, and after talking to them, actually one person specifically, he convinced me and made me realize that there were so many things in my hockey life that I had trained for physically and mentally that I could translate into policing. And it was just a perfect fit.
There's often a misconception that you have to do police foundations to be a police officer. That's not true at all. The minimum education is actually high school, but post-secondary school does make you more competitive, but that post-secondary school can literally be anything that you're interested in. We want officers from lots of diverse backgrounds, and diversity includes educational diversity. So the advice we usually give students who say to us, okay, well, what post-secondary should I do? Is I say, just do something you're interested in because you're going to excel at it if you're more engaged in it. And then when you're done, you can apply with whatever degree that you have.
After university, I quickly realized that, you know what, a life in the theatre business isn't really going to be a good fit for me because it's not that stable. I moved back to Kitchener and I met another female who had done some training with the RCMP, and it sounded really cool and interesting to me. So I turned my mind to policing and I thought, hey, is this something that would be good for me? I love talking to people, I love working in a team, being outside, not doing the same thing every day. So I applied to Waterloo Regional Police as a civilian and worked in the records branch for a year and a half. And then I applied as a police constable and I got hired in 2006.
So every police officer starts as a constable on the road. So that's where you start. We have all of our detective branches, cybercrime, guns and gangs. We have all those type of detective branches, but all of those people in there all started as a constable.
Very thoughtful about where you apply before you apply, and just imagine you're staying there for 30 years, just so that you don't have to worry about that later, or because if you bank on it and then it doesn't happen, what does that mean for you?
Yeah.
Right? So
You mean we've got about 850 police officers and about almost 400 civilian people. So that's people in our IT, in records, all over. So
I've worked patrol up at our North Division. I worked on our core team, which is our community-oriented response and enforcement team. I then went into the intimate partner violence unit and then have been fortunate enough to be here for the last 6 months. The variety of the job kind of intrigued me from the very beginning with police, and that has translated into the role of recruiting as well. So a week here in the recruiting team has kind of a vast variety of things we do. We travel all over Southern Ontario and do presentations at universities and colleges. We run a lot of kind of in-house programs as well, including a women's only shuttle run. We do a lot of presentations to teach people about the process and about Waterloo Region and about Waterloo Regional Police. So every week is completely different, and I think that's one of the things I really enjoy.
I'm an extrovert, so I love being out and meeting different people and, you know, doing presentations and working events. That's just kind of, it just gives me a lot of energy, so I really love that. And then being able to see someone who, you know, their goal and dream is to become a police officer and mentor them through the process and get to see them, you know, hired and put on the uniform is really, really amazing.
So if you want to turn your cameras on and audio. And they might not be there because I think.
Admit Okay, I'll tell you this number, you might not want to use it. But I often say this when I'm talking to people about policing as a career because I remember this moment so distinctly. I was on a call and it was the middle of the night, we were on a night shift, and we were searching for someone who was in distress that we needed to find, and the person had gone off into to a wooded area. And I remember walking into this forest, you know, with a couple of other officers, and it was pitch black, and hearing this person, and we could kind of hear hear where they might be in the forest. And we came up to this body of water, and the officers were junior officers to me. And so they said to me, like, what do we do? And I looked at them and I'm like, we're just gonna go in. It's not very deep. We can just walk through the water. We have to find this person. And I remember thinking to myself, this is the coolest job in the world. Like, what other job are you in the middle of the night, you know, in a forest, walking through water to try and go and help somebody? And it was a moment that I will always remember as me feeling so thankful that I get to do this job.
I think if you're considering being a police officer, one of the first things you should do is go to our website. The join.wrps.ca is a fantastic website with a ton of information on there. You can also get the contact information for my partner Rachel and for me. Reach out to us. We'd be happy to help out. Another thing is if you know any police officers, or if you even see any police officers out in the community that aren't busy right at the time, go and talk to them. Find out kind of what police officers do. There's going to be a lot of things that might surprise you. It's not all everything you see on TV, but I think just starting with the basic knowledge is going to help you kind of through the process and decide whether you actually want to be an officer.
I don't get that feeling. Sorry, this is a terrible answer. You know, what was the question again? Oh, yeah. Next question. Okay.